Hi, this is Tweek. In previous episodes, I've used clothespins and wooden discs to make a beautiful garden star for my garden. Today, I'm going to tweak that idea and turn it into a garden star flower for my garden. Want to see how it's done? Join us. Supplies we'll need for this project are: you will need some common household wooden clothespins. You will need 12 thin wooden discs. We'll need a 1/2 inch thick piece of wood. We used Aspen. Some 1 inch pin nails, some waterproof exterior glue, outdoor exterior varnish, and some fine grit sandpaper. You will also need a swivel hook, 2 small hanging hooks, a crystal prism ball, bead wire. I use the 0.018 size wire. Paint of your choice. I'm using acrylic paints today: teal, copper, gold, and reds. You'll need a bead chain to hang your project, a glue gun, and some brushes. So let's get started. We begin by taking common household clothespins. Take the hardware off by twisting the piece. And when you get the 2 pieces of wood, you glue them together, and you end up with this shape. Now this shape, you will need 22 of these per side of the garden star, so you'll need 44 of these total. When I get these done, I'm going to paint them gold today. I'm going to use some gold. I'm just going to put right here, a little bit right there. And I'm going to put a layer on the top. Now when I did this project, I added several layers of gold to really make the star shine. And when that dries, I will come back in and add another complementary color to it. It's a simple thing to paint. It takes a while to paint 44 of them. They put on a good movie or something. That's what I do. And we wait for that to dry. And when you get done adding your color combinations to it, you end up with something that looks like this. Now you can see I added multiple layers, which brings out the gold color, which I really liked. Now with my design, I'm using a teal complement. I'm going to add some teal beads. So I put just a little bit of color on the tip of the clothespin. And when you get them all together on your piece, they're going to sit like this on the piece. You only have to paint one side, you don't have to paint the back. And we're going to go around the star like you can see right here. Next, once we have all those pieces done, we're going to work on the discs. I got these discs off of Amazon. They came 50 to a pack. They're 6 inch wide and they're very wafer thin, which makes it nice because I'm going to use them to make petals for my flower. So we take the disc and I'm going to paint this one a bright teal. Now this time I'm just going to put the paint right on the wood. You don't have to do it that way, but I don't mind doing it that way. And I'm just going to get some blue on me. I'm just going to go across the piece. I'm only putting on 1 coating of the color. You could choose more. I think the more color you add, the more vibrant it's going to be. There's going to be 6 petals on each flower, but it's going to be double-sided. So you need 12 of them to paint for the flower. And let's talk about the middle, or the center of the flower, which is a piece of 1/2 inch thick aspen wood that we found. And we cut a 7 inch diameter circle. And here's how we did that. work is done and I painted the center, and here's what we came up with. I have a color mix myself I call Marigold, some oranges and reds, and a red on the outside that's going to really complement our discs, our petals. And all these things need 3 coats of outside varnish, which means don't do it in the house, do it outside where there's good ventilation. All discs and the center on both sides need varnish. So let's go do that. All right, we've got our centerpiece varnished. We've got each of our petals varnished on both sides, even though the color is only on one side. And this is how we will assemble. We take one of the petals, and there's a little lip there. It buddies up to the center, and we're going to use these little discs that we cut out. They look like little tinker toys. And place between, and the petals will sit like that. You go around the circumference. See how that tucks in there? And you put a little spacer and another petal. And you get the idea. You go all the way around the flower and attach them, and here's how we did that. Garden star has now morphed into a garden flower, but I still want the star look in the center. So let's see how we did that. All these little clothespins that you have now painted. I painted just one side, and I put a little bit of color just on the edge. And when I start putting them around the circumference of the center there, and I'm using them, that edge, and I'll buddy them right up. I want to go all the way around before I do anything else, because I want to see how they're going to fit. And I'm going to place a turquoise bead between each one, like I did in my garden star, to add a little more color, a little more interest. And you can see how it's really changing. Isn't that pretty? I love these colors. This is real pretty in copper or bronze too. If you get into your paints, you don't want to do gold. Oh, anything that's metallic is beautiful with these Aztec looking colors. Very pretty. So I'm going to add one more, and this should be 22. And now to test, to see if I've got enough space there. When I actually insert the beads, I've got these little 8mm turquoise beads, and I'm just going to pop them in between. See? And I want to make sure I leave a space enough for each one, and that's why the 22 clothespins works. For the size bead, 8mm bead fits really well into the space between the clothespins. So now that I have this set up the way I want, I'm going to very lightly put a dot of hot glue and some wood glue to make sure it stays in place. So I'm going to pull one right now. And I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start going around. So here we go. A little bit of glue here, just a dot, and a little bit of Titebond. I really want to make sure this piece is going to stand up to the weather. Let's see how this works. Set it down. Okay, we got our first one in. Now we're going to go all the way around. Keep your finger on the edge so they touch and they're buddied up straight up to the center. And that should leave us more than enough room to pop in our beads. So I'm going to continue. Okay, so we got one left here. Little dab of glue, hot glue. And I'm going to position, I'm trying to hide these holes on the beads, but sometimes they roll around and who's going to know except me? There we go. The wood is soft enough in the clothespins that it kind of gives a little bit. And those are in there tight, and let's hope they stay that way. With a little bit of glue, and I want to tap that one in again. Should I just leave well enough alone? There we go. Okay, now we repeat. Wow, isn't that pretty? Repeat, other side. And here I go. So on the second side, reverse side, I switched it up a little bit by using a different color copper with the teal instead of the gold. It's going to be really pretty. And then instead of pounding them in after I set up the pins, I just set the clothespin and set the bead at the same time. So I have a little more space actually in the end, which takes away the poundy part. So let's set this last clothespin with a little bit of wood glue at the top. And then I put hot glue dab there, and then put a hot glue dab there on each side where the, well, and I'll do one first, where the bead goes. So I lay the bead in there, lay down the pin. I've got some extra space there, don't I? That is okay. Less pounding. I was concerned about pounding on one side. That might displace the others on the other side. So this worked out just fine. We don't need to do the poundy part. I do need a bead. Got wiggle room just a second to get that bead hole out of the way. Now, aside from all these little glue strings on here, little webs, wow, this is how far we've gotten. Now, this needs to have some pin nails to make sure these are going to stay in place, and then the whole thing gets 2 coats of varnish. So let's go do that. Everything is varnished. Look at this. Isn't that cool? But we have a few things left to do to it. I'm going to use that little hook in the center, and I'm going to hang one of these beautiful pendants. I got these online. They come 22 a pack. So these are a very good value, and they will hang there and sparkle. To get it to hang there, I'm going to add just a little bit of this beading wire, just a little bit, just to give it enough to hang there. All right, there's a channel here. I'll go ahead and push the wire through. I want to get some idea as to where I want it to hang. So I'm going to put the knot right about where my thumb was right there. So I'm going to leave what, about maybe half an inch. Make a knot. Okay. And make another. This is very, very simple. Probably make another. Okay. Good. Oh, I pulled it down quite a ways. I guess that's okay too. Adjust the knot how you need. And I'm going to add another in there too. Make sure it stays. Okay, and then I'm going to snip off the excess. Get on there a little. Okay, that's hanging. Beautiful. I've got the crystal prism ball there hanging in the center. Now I'm going to add some chain. I've got this thick chain, sturdy. I'm just going to push it, loop it through the swivel. And then I'm going to just put the two ends on the hook. And there. It is going to swivel. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Look what we made. Beautiful. So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and remember to ring the bell so you know when another episode of Tweeks with Tweek is coming along. Until then, make a garden star, make a floral garden star, and let it sparkle up your garden environment. See you again.